been lit, boy. Everything goes.
We now return you to regular programming.
Well, welcome back to the Everything Goes podcast, where I had no idea who was going to start this podcast, so we are going for it right now. Hope everyone is having a wonderful week. I know the guy across the room from me right now is not having a wonderful week.
COVID sucks.
And it was a very heartbreaking week as the Red Sea came into Jerry World. And
it is what it is. I'm still a Cowboys fan. I'm never going to change. I'm diehard. I'm a Cowboys fan as much as I hate them right now. I don't know what fixes them. I really don't. I just don't know. I mean, if you can't show up for a playoff game and you play like crap, 14 penalties, I mean...
Well, and what, 5 of the 6 teams, home teams, won this weekend or past weekend too. So
yeah, I don't know what to do. I mean, fire everybody, I guess. I mean, I don't know. They got 21 free agents. Some of them are important pieces. I don't know if Randy Gregory's coming back. I mean, you have offensive linemen that are going to be gone. I mean, I don't know. It was disappointing. It really was.
It was a very interesting playoff weekend. I mean, starting off the week with the starting off the week with the Bengals and the Raiders. Gosh,
that was a great game.
Burrow is so good. Number one, how great was it to see a cold football game at the Bengals stadium? Like, it wasn't cold where it was snowing, but you saw the air coming out of their mouth.
The Bills game was definitely cold.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Well, what about? Did you guys happen to watch I saw the replay of the weird touchdown call.
Yeah. So
refs blew the whistle early on.
Which is weird because he wasn't
out of bounds.
It didn't even look like he was close to stepping out of bounds. I mean,
it was so borderline. Yeah.
What
do you do in that instance? Like, I mean, technically, I guess I guess if you like go to replay, it's hard to like match. Like, all right, when did he blow the whistle and when did the ball leave his hand? But what is that? If a ref blows the whistle, technically the play's dead, right?
Yeah,
so even though he threw a touchdown, they should have brought it back.
New York made that call. I mean, but that was the difference of the game. You think about it. I mean, it was a good game.
You think New York said, "Screw the whistle"? Like, we're gonna look at. He was clearly not out of bounds. Like, just give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look like the defender stopped running after the play. I mean,
it did.
Everything was
right?
still going.
Everything was still live. But I mean, you clearly hear the whistle. You clearly hear the whistle.
That exactly. So whether they're right or wrong, I think, New York should be able to dictate that call or not. And I guess I don't know how bad they butchered it, but it seemed like that with a mess of other calls kind of impacted some games.
And let me tell you what, I felt bad.
I
felt bad for Derek Carr because there were so many times where he'd make a huge play, it'd be like 3rd and 1 or 2nd and 2, like something very short. He'd make a huge play, drive them down the field, and I remember I watched that whole game. Almost every drive, they'd have 5 big penalties. Holding almost 90% of the time. So back them up 10 yards, another 10 yards, and it just constantly put them out of field goal range, put them out of the red zone.
You see, though, how great it is to be – sorry, Chris, but you see how good it is to be great. And that's what the Cowboys did. The Vikings did that all year, where you needed drives to come back and you killed yourself with penalties on big 3rd downs or early in the – whatever the case may be, you kill yourself. And these good teams, you're going to watch it this weekend for sure, how they just efficiently will go down the field and grind teams away.
Yeah. And that game literally did go down the last minute, too. Raiders had a chance with like a minute left, and it was the last play of the game. He threw a pick right in the red zone.
You know, the thing that aggravates me, though, is, I mean, you could clearly call holding on every damn play if you wanted to. But if you notice, you're starting to see defensive players flop now. You're starting to see guys that are coming in and they're throwing themselves to the ground, they're throwing their hands in the air, and then the flag comes out. I mean, you see it in every sport now, and it's ridiculous because a lot of those holding calls, and I'm not just saying it's the Cowboys, but I'm saying on the Raiders game and in other games, you could see that these guys are just intentionally getting beat. The one defender got taken to the ground, and they called that holding. He lost his footing. So
the one that was so interesting to me with Dallas, though, is the last drive when you guys were on defense. There was a defensive lineman you guys had twice. He held the offensive lineman, and it got called holding. And I'm just like,
yeah, it was Randy Gregory.
I'm just like, why are you holding him when you're trying to tackle somebody?
Look, that game was just torture. It really was. I mean, to make me have to go through that and watch it to the very last minute with all those stupid penalties and thinking that we had a chance, and it's just,
oh my God, yeah.
You know, Dallas. They have
That was a
problems.
crazy
I mean,
game.
I don't understand. Like when your first drive, you have guys jumping off sides on defense, giving them first downs. I mean, it's just, where's your mind? I mean, you should be watching the ball. I mean, I don't know. It's sad. It's frustrating. The offense looked like crap. I mean, it wasn't the beginning of the season. The first 6 games of the season before Dak got hurt, our offense had no problems moving the ball down the field. We looked like the best offense in football, averaging over 30 points a game. Nobody could stop us. And I said that from the start. The only way we're going to be able to get to the Super Bowl is if we have a good defense or we don't beat ourselves. Well, we beat ourselves. Because ever since Dak came back, we went to high school football where we dump off here, dump off there. How do you not get your 3 best receivers involved in the game? How's Cedric Wilson your most targeted player? Amari Cooper had like 3 or 4 targets. CeeDee Lamb didn't get his first catch to the fourth quarter?
No, I thought CD got a couple big catches, but as soon as he got him caught, there was a holding.
No, it's not a catch. It doesn't go as a catch until he got his first catch in the third or fourth quarter.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, and this is Kellen Moore, who is now seeking jobs all over the place now, and his name's listed everywhere. Him and Dan Quinn. I think that's one of the things that's a problem too. Is why are we having guys get interviewed during the season? I mean, that's a slap in the organization's face. I mean, you're not focusing on the game at hand. I mean, and another thing too is Mike McCarthy is the head coach. You're the most penalized team in football. How do you not fix that going into the playoffs? I mean, you have 14 freaking penalties on you in a game that's important.
I wanted to ask you a lot of questions, one of which I'm sure it's not easy to pinpoint one issue right now, it sounds like, which is probably the major problem.
Yeah, the offensive line looked like crap. Dak looked like crap. I mean, Dak threw the ball behind players. He was off. He wasn't in rhythm at all. It just, I don't know.
Well, Aikman, did you see? I happened to read Aikman. I didn't read it. He was on 105.3.
I didn't read. I heard he
105.3 The Fan.
Yeah, but Aikman had a pretty interesting quote though about
go ahead and
the
read
coverage and just how like if you see a stud receiver, CeeDee Lamb matched up 1-on-1, just do simple routes with him to try to force feed him the ball basically.
I think Dak was exposed. I don't think Dak could read defenses. I think, Dak's a great quarterback when he's blitzed, but they stopped blitzing him a lot during the season, and they made him try to read defenses, and I don't think Dak can.
I think a huge factor in this game that we even pointed out at the beginning of the game is the 49ers came out to that stadium as if they had no care in the world. They were so high on cloud 9, ready to play that game, jamming out to music, and Dak looked, I don't want to say scared, but Dak looked like he wasn't comfortable. Like he hasn't been there in a while.
They lost both their defensive ends in that game. Boza was hurt; he got a concussion, and the other guy they lost,
Warner, for a while,
and they lost their linebacker, and Dak still could not move the ball. I just think we paid. This is another thing. I hate contracts. I hate giving people money just because there's the next man up mentality. This guy deserves this. No, you don't deserve anything until you prove it on the field, and Dak has not proved it on the field. Dak is a good quarterback, but he plays in a weak division. Just like the Eagles. The Eagles were 0-7 against teams that are playoff teams. The NFC East, it's a glorified division. I mean, you go 6-0 in that division. That's 6 wins right there. You're on cloud 9. And then you go beat up some more bad teams in other divisions. But
Yep. You got 8 wins easy there.
What good win did the Cowboys have this year? The Chargers?
They said that about the Eagles too, and that how interesting that is. They bow out first, both from the NFC East. The Chargers, they're a tricky team, anyways. I
mean, the offensive line looked like crap, and then you're running a guy.
Yep.
You're running Zeke back there, who's not explosive. You have a great running back in Pollard, who could bust through holes. You can use in the screen game, and he touches the ball 6 times. That's on coaching. That's coaching.
He had, less than 5 touches total, I think? Or
it's
maybe
ridiculous.
That was before half. That's another point is what the heck? The dude averaged a great yards per carry average, I think, on the season anyways.
I think he led all running backs. With yards per rush, like 5.5 average or something like that. And you're using him for kick returns and punt returns, and you have him on the bench. And you have Zeke, who has a PCL tear, and it comes out and says it after the game, with no explosiveness whatsoever, and you're playing him. Zeke should be on. He should be in on downs. You're going to throw where he can block, because Zeke's. That one block he took out 2 defenders and saved Dak's butt. But then again, if it's a passing down, you need your stud in there. You need Pollard in there. The Cowboys have a lot of things they got to work on. They really do.
It's very interesting,
Yeah.
too, especially if you lose Dan Quinn and you lose Kellen Moore. It's like, is Mike McCarthy even relatable to keep around?
Right.
At that point,
and then you add on the
might
penalties.
as well. Yeah. I mean, look, if Dan Quinn's listed as one of the favorites to go to Denver, him and the offensive coordinator, I believe, offensive coordinator from Green Bay are the top two for Denver's job. If he goes to Denver, I would pick up Fangio. Bring him. He's a great defensive mind. Bring him in to fill that role for the Cowboys.
That's just a simple trade. That's a great point. You're saving money there, too.
Now, if Kellen Moore goes, me personally, I don't think Kellen Moore is a guy that's been in the league long enough to lead a franchise. I just don't. I think he's a great offensive, but he hasn't done anything yet. I mean, you had the keys to the car, the Ferrari of the NFL, and you ended up crashing it. You didn't do anything with it. So what organization is going to take a chance on a kid that's only been a coordinator for 2 years?
It's funny watching the Dallas game. That's literally every single season that I can remember. That's how exactly the Saints played. You know, this year Dallas led. Like, for real though, Dallas led the league in passing yards and touchdowns this year. New Orleans was always a high flying offense. You get to the playoffs,
we led the league in takeaways too.
And you go to the playoffs, and it's like everything disappears. It's like you barely get a touchdown. It's like, where does that go, and what happens with coaching? Like, how does that just disappear in a matter of a game?
Someone has to answer for it, and I know Jerry. I mean, you listen to Jerry Jones. He's floored. He's pissed, basically. You know, it's Super Bowl or bust when you're the Dallas Cowboys, and unfortunately, you are titled the America's team, but you're not playing like it. You know, you're one of the best franchise, the most expensive franchise in almost all sports, a multi-billion-dollar franchise, and you're no better than Trailer Park. I mean, it's. And I don't mean to put anyone down by that, but I'm just saying you're playing like trash. You know, you have all this talent. This is the team, and I said this at the beginning of the year. This is the team. It feels like the '90s. This is it. This is our one shot. We have a lot of free agents that are the best offense, and if our defense would come alive, and our defense did come alive, and our offense fell flat.
The NFC, by far, the NFC East has the largest population, all eyes watching that division too. So I think it garners a lot of attention too. But you're right. At the end of the day, the division is sadly average.
Yeah.
And
I mean, and it's weird because and I'm not saying this because it's the division we're in, but there's no other division that has more Super Bowl trophies than that division. I mean, you think about the ones the Giants have, the Redskins have, the Cowboys have, even the Eagles have now. So that is by far should be the most dominant division in football if you look at it, but it's not, and it hasn't been. And who knows where it's going? I mean, look at the Giants just fired their GM and their coach. They have a quarterback that's trash. You know, if Russell Wilson goes there, that turns things around. If Deshaun Jackson goes to Washington, that turns things around. Then you'll have great quarterbacks. But I don't know. I don't know. I wish there was an expansion team coming in because I think I'd jump ship.
I think this would be a very interesting offseason for Dallas because I have a very strong feeling Cooper wants out.
There is.
I don't think Cooper's happy. I think
he's not utilized. I mean,
they throw to him. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's a frustrating loss for a lot of players probably in your locker room. To be the best, probably one of the best teams in the NFC all year, and you knew on paper you're probably the best team in the league when you play Dallas football, and to go up there and just throw a bus like that,
and to give
did they have the Hard Knocks curse?
No, I don't think so. I think that was the Colts, the in-season Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I guess the Colts.
But I think, to be honest with you, and now you're stuck. I mean, you're giving a quarterback $40+ million who, if he doesn't do anything next year, I mean, you got to start asking yourself, okay, is it time to find another quarterback? I mean, think about it. I mean, look at the weapons this guy had, and you still couldn't. You should have ran all over the 49ers, and I'm sorry, especially losing their best defensive players, and you only put up a crap load of points, 17 freaking points.
And the Vikings now are under the cap too with Cousins next year, so we might be in a similar situation where both quarterbacks could hit free agency. I don't know how Dak's contract is structured, but I know that the Vikings, we're going to find a GM, then a head coach. Who knows? But we're not going to get rid of Cousins, not with 45 cap, unless that's another thing. I know we didn't really want to dive in, or I kind of wanted to start the show talking about the playoff matchups. Maybe we can end there. But you look at the available coach or quarterbacks, Derek Carr, Wilson potentially,
Tua,
maybe even Rodgers, Tua,
Matt
all
Ryan,
these guys,
possibly.
but then Cousins, Deshaun Watson's could still be out there. Matt Ryan, there's like, you never know, especially with new leadership coming in significant roles too. So,
and who knows about Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers could be on the move.
Yep. Yeah, it sucks as like sort of. I don't know though. I feel like we're rehashing a little bit because I always feel like I bring up the fact that the Vikings, but what can you do too? You're stuck with it, and when you record almost weekly as a podcast.
But let me ask you this: could you imagine? And I'm not just saying this because Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback right now going, besides Mahomes and maybe someone else. Could you imagine him being on a Dallas team with the weapons that was right there for Dak the last weekend? I mean, he's got Devontae Adams and a couple of other no-names, Lazard and a couple other no-names that they show up every other week. They don't have the studs that, Devontae Adams is it, basically. Could you imagine putting Aaron Rodgers behind that offensive line, knowing that he has Amari Cooper, a CeeDee Lamb, a Cedric Wilson, a Blake Jarwin, a Schultz?
Ty, you want A-Raj?
I would take him absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where you have to answer yourself. I mean, the only thing good Dak did for me was he got me my parlay win because he had over 8 yards rushing. That was it. The only thing he did for me. But I mean, you're gonna have this whole debate. If we don't do anything next year and all the pieces come back and we still don't do anything, you got to start asking the guy who handles the ball the most: is Dak Prescott the quarterback of the future of the Dallas Cowboys? And I'd have to say no.
And Jerry's got too much pressure. I know he's getting up there in age, unfortunately. And so I think a lot of that's pressing on him as well. Because he wants to, he just like same thing as the Packers organization, Cowboys, I feel like have that, well, we should have won more kind of mindset sort of thing. So I get it. I get the pressure. I mean,
I think we haven't passed the divisional round since, don't quote me on this, I think it's 1994 or 1998 was the last time we made it past the divisional round.
Wow.
I mean, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know. I think it is, you're getting close to, is Dak the guy? I think Dak is still a very good quarterback. I think if you've seen it all year long.
I don't think he can read defenses.
I think the coaching is also a big factor, too. I think you saw, like you said, I don't think Kellen Moore is ready to lead a franchise. I think you've seen some brilliant plays that he's called this year. You even saw a couple of them called last week where Cedric Wilson, if he would have threw that ball backwards perfectly, I think it was CeeDee Lamb runs for another 30 yards. But yeah, it's also just you look into the coaching staff and who's leading Dak and teaching Dak,
But you got to figure out, too, is you got to figure out how do you fix penalties? I mean, that's coaching, but how do you fix that? And the thing there's one stat out there, since 2015, teams that have played against Dallas are the lowest penalized teams in the NFL. That's crazy.
You also hear great quarterbacks talk about getting into a rhythm and feeling the mojo. For Dak and the offense and I watched that game with you. You saw multiple plays where they made a big play, and then all of a sudden Holden 10-yard penalty, and that screws up your chemistry, your flow.
That was the Cardinals-Rams game in a nutshell. One quarterback that was completely under duress the entire time, the other one that was handing it off or doing play action bombs.
Yeah.
in Stafford. Like Murray looked. I thought Murray probably looked the worst of all the quarterbacks because even Mac Jones as a rookie. That was going to be, side note, my like highlight best moment was that interception by Micah Hyde. But even like Mac Jones played decent. He just ran into a buzzsaw with the Bills. I thought Kyler Murray and then probably Dak played the worst as quarterbacks over the weekend.
Too. Hurt.
Oh, you're right. Well, I didn't even consider them. Is it sad that I didn't even consider the Eagles? What did Rudy say? The Pigeons?
Yeah, I honestly believe that. I thought the Eagles, with their defense, the way their front four is, and the way they were running the ball, that they were going to go in there and they were going to handle Tampa Bay no problem. I couldn't believe how fast that game was over.
Yeah, everyone's jumping on Hurts. I get
it was the whole team.
I was like, bro, your defense left 31 points like it was nothing.
I put a lot of wagers on the Eagles game.
I think we
Never
should
again.
congratulate the Bengals for officially getting out of their playoff drought and officially. I love Joe.
What was it? 30?
I think it was I think it was. Burrow's post-game talks are like the best. I wish I had it all written down, but like it's not cocky, but it's like he just has like this big chip on his shoulder. Like we're not done. Like we're not even. We were just kind of like not looking at this game, trying to go.
Well, the Bengals. I mean, just the whole atmosphere. I mean, nobody expected them to win their division, let alone make the playoffs. They expect them to have a better year, but they're riding high right now. You know?
Yeah. Yep. They're winning close games too. I think about when they beat the Vikings early in the year too. They had no business, but now what you said, Tyler, now I know the way that Burrows handles himself and the way he talks, this
is only
they're getting leadership from him. They're getting leaders. Like that's a well-organized team. It sounds like from the head coach down, which now in looking, I know hindsight's 2020, but I'm like, oh, that makes sense why they beat the Vikings.
And I think they can beat the Titans. If it's a close game,
I
think they can beat the Titans next week.
I tell you what, the team that I wasn't surprised, I knew that was going to happen, was the Bills just manhandled New England. And I figured that, you have a rookie quarterback who the last time he was there only threw the ball 3 times, and they had to take the leash off of him. And that defense, the Bills are just gelled at the right time. I mean, Josh Allen's averaging almost 60 yards rushing. He's doing it all. I mean, the guy had, 5 touchdowns and 80% completion rating. I think he's only the first guy or second guy ever in NFL history to do that. I mean, it's just
I cannot wait for the matchup between them and Kansas City. Both quarterbacks just threw 5 touchdowns and both put up over 40 points.
Yeah, but Kansas City struggled early.
It's going to be.
Kansas City struggled early against Pittsburgh.
Yep.
You know what's funny is
you do that against Buffalo, you're done.
I looked at my phone and I saw Pittsburgh was winning 7-0. I was like, oh, good for Pittsburgh. I checked back an hour later. I saw it was 42-7. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah,
got out of hand real quick.
It did. I think the shocker for me was that, like you said, Ace, the Cardinals.
Yep.
I thought they would have came in with more of a fight. I was blown away. Of course, Tom Brady, he always finds a way. The thing about Tom Brady that's amazing is that guy won't get sacked. I mean, he did get sacked once in that game. But he dictates what the defense has to do. And what did he do? He tossed it out real quick to all of his different receivers and forced them to play up on the line. He's just, the guy is amazing. He's a surgeon. He just knows how to dissect the freaking defenses. And that's the thing he has going for him. He really does. He just doesn't get hit. Where Dak took bad sacks instead of throwing the ball out of bounds. Tom Brady knows how to win games with less, and that's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I agree. He's twice the age of half these quarterbacks now that are playing outside of Rodgers still, and
he's still playing in his prime technically. Like the stats.
That arm,
crazy.
The arm has not slowed down.
I mean,
it's crazy. Yeah, you're right.
He's still throwing almost 300 passing yards a game. He's averaging at least 30 throws a game.
A part of me, I know quarterbacks can be short to play the position. I'm not trying to rip on Murray even more, but he seems to there's a lot of times where he's not anticipating. It's like he's almost, if he doesn't see something right away, he knows he can't. I guess I'm trying to say without trying to. He can't see over the lineman. So maybe he's trying to just read certain things. And
what's crazy how once Hopkins was injured, that whole franchise fell apart.
Yep. Completely different team. Completely different.
But he's still Green and Kirk, which is and he had Zach Ertz. I mean, he still had great weapons there.
I mean, I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you went 19 for 34 with only 130 yards passing and 2 interceptions. I mean, you have the Rams who come off a loss to the Rams who could not stop the run, and then you just get blown away like that.
I tell you who's gelling right now, and I applaud Matthew Stafford getting his first freaking playoff win in 13 years. I mean, that's amazing.
Does he even have a playoff win?
That's his first one. So their defense is gelling right now. Their defense is really starting to gel. Aaron Donald, you're starting to hear Von Miller's name now. You haven't heard him since he was traded there. Now all of a sudden you're hearing his name a lot. OBJ is actually picking up pace now. So they have Cooper Kupp, OBJ. So they're going in the right direction.
Yep.
And Sonny Michel's been playing well for them.
It's funny. OBJ had a great game, and they made him go for a PED test or something like that.
Yeah,
after the game.
He got one. He got one the next day.
It's crazy.
Oh my gosh, really?
That's crazy.
Well, so Murray I don't see him as an elusive runner, but Murray does have to get out of the pocket too, I think, to some degree to be successful. So
The draft is full of offensive linemen.
Yeah.
That's very true. There's a lot of teams that need a lot of offensive linemen. And I asked you guys this question off camera, but do you think Cliff Kingsbury's job is safe after having 3 seasons where they start off very hot and then they struggle at the second half and then you get absolutely destroyed in the playoffs?
Speaking of Kellen Moore not having enough experience, where did Kingsbury come out of? Wasn't he coaching Texas Tech before this?
The thing about Arizona though is even though he does have that history of the second half blues, they are getting better every year.
They are, yeah.
I mean, you think about it, they were the last team that was undefeated until they got hit with the injury bug. So, I mean, do I think he's still? Yeah, I think maybe another 2 years, maybe you ride out this contract and then you reevaluate. But they are. I mean, every year you can say now they could be the team to win. I mean, they were only 1 game away from winning that division.
You
they
think
lost
about
to the Rams.
How dominant Kyler Murray was playing before he got injured.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly think if he didn't get injured, he'd probably still be in the MVP talks. You have AJ Green who thinks it's a run play against Green Bay, who's blocking in the end zone when he was wide open. But the last play of the game.
The thing is, we talked about this before. It's a copycat league. I mean, if you find one team that can shut down Kyler Murray, everyone copycats that. Look at Denver. Denver was the first team to stop blitzing Dak, and what happened? Dak's numbers went down. Everyone else stopped blitzing Dak. Dak can't read defenses, so it's a copycat league. So. It's easy for other
teams. Defense.
That's a great point. Like Zimmer doesn't get enough credit as a defensive coordinator because when you're playing head coach, when you're playing both those roles, you lose a game. Nobody gives a crap what you did on the defensive side, calling a good game, right?
Yeah.
Fans don't know anything about that, so he doesn't get enough credit for being a good-minded coach because he's got some playmakers. And I agree with you, Chris. I feel like the best in the game, like Brady, can still dissect the defense so that he knows where everything is coming, just like Rodgers. And then you have guys like Mahomes and Allen who are starting to learn that, but who are 10 times faster.
And you know what?
So they can at least.
Let me recant insane. What I said. I shouldn't say Dak can't read defenses. Dak can't throw receivers open. Okay, like a Drew Brees, like a Joe Montana. Like an Aaron Rodgers. When quarterbacks Tom Brady, quarterbacks that throw the ball before the receiver's open and the receiver turns around and the ball's there, that's quarterbacks that know the receivers, know their routes.
Routes.
If you look at Dak's throws, Dak does not throw the ball until CeeDee Lamb's open or until Amari Cooper cuts in. He's not throwing guys open. He's not throwing balls to tough situations where he's hoping the guy gets there. It just seems like Dak holds onto the ball to the point where he has to check it down. So maybe it's not that Dak can't read defenses. Maybe Dak don't have confidence in making those tough throws yet and throwing receivers open. I don't know. It's just when you see good quarterbacks that have done it a long time and the quarterbacks that scare you, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, even Phillip Rivers, guys like that. Those are quarterbacks that you are afraid of. Are you afraid of Dak Prescott? I'm not. I mean, are you afraid of Jalen Hurts? No. I'm not. He's going to beat you. Are you afraid of Kyler Murray? Other than their legs, I mean, they really haven't proved themselves yet. And until you can be that guy that steps up, no matter what the defense gives you, and read that defense, like Aaron Rodgers, man, he's seen it all. Tom Brady's seen it all. Dak's still new to it, so he hasn't seen it all. But
those are when you see good quarterbacks. When you watch,
though? Go ahead. That's why I think the Rams, defensive wise, I think the Rams, I know the safeties are banged up, but I think they could beat the Bucs and they could potentially.
Well, the Bucs lost 2 offensive linemen in the Eagles game.
Yeah. Yep.
So they're gonna have Aaron Donald. He's gonna have Aaron Donald in his face. So he better stay under that 2.8 second release point. Or
stats show too. If you get pressure on Tom Brady, he usually loses. That's how the Saints have been able to sweep them. If you get pressure on him, it does not play well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the power rankings for the remaining teams that are in the playoffs. Number 8 is the Los Angeles Rams, which I think that's horrible. I don't think they should be 8. Number 7 is right now San Francisco, which I think San Francisco should be 8. Number 6 is the Bengals. Which I can't argue with that. I just lost my page. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, a lot of people think the Bengals lose this weekend against the Titans.
I could see them beating the Titans.
Number 5 is Tennessee. Now, Tennessee is getting their running back. So Henry's going to light it up. It's going to be a different.
Will he though? Let's see, because the Bengals have some of their defensive players come back. Henderson's coming back, so you never know.
Now this one's shocking. Number 4 is Tampa Bay. Now I think Tampa Bay is. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady is going to be one of the best quarterbacks we're ever going to talk about when it comes to Super Bowls. I just think with the lack of weapons that they have and the injuries that they have, I just don't think they're 4. I think they should be down towards 7 or 8.
I think Brady, the Bengals and the Titans beat them now.
I think right now, if they get by the Rams, they're lucky. With the way the Rams are playing right now, the Rams are higher on the hog. They got so many defensive weapons that are going to be in Tom Brady's face. Tom Brady you take away Evans, you put Ramsey on Evans, who does he have to throw to? So they have them at 4, which I think that's too high. Number 3 is Kansas City. Number 2 is Buffalo. And the number 1 team is your Green Bay Packers.
Who's playing
no
Green Bay?
Respect for the Titans, by the way. No respect for the Titans.
I have no respect for the Titans. I have no respect at all for the Titans. I do not think the Titans are a scary team at all. I don't know what it is. I mean, heck, they almost lost to a New Orleans Saints team that had every single injury on it. I just have not seen them dominate. They barely beat the Texans the last game of the year.
Yeah, but now you look at it's the playoffs. They're getting Henry back. They have Julio Jones. They have the other receiver, A.J. Brown.
Everyone's talking about Julio Jones, too. Julio Jones got his first touchdown as a Tennessee Titan last week, last week of the NFL season against the Texans. That was his first ever touchdown with the Titans.
But see, the thing is you're getting a guy back that had over 935 rushing yards by week, 8 or 9? You're getting Henry back. So if Henry is running the ball and pounding it on Cincinnati, they're going to have to move up and try to stop the run, which is going to open up the freaking passing game.
I'd load that box and put the game in Tannehill's hands.
And I wouldn't be surprised then you're going to see people like a Julio Jones or the other receiver have a huge game. So we'll get into our picks then, but I'm telling you right now I'm taking Tennessee. Tennessee's going to run all over them. It's going to be a huge game. And plus, it's in Tennessee. And Henry coming back. There you go. I think the Bengals season's done.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
that power rankings are weird.
Yeah,
no respect for the Titans.
I think
no respect.
I just think Tom Brady's name is what's carrying them up there.
I was gonna say, I feel like you guys are really putting the Bucs down. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think the Bucs are great, but I mean, Tom Brady having a chance in the playoffs, that's a.
Yeah, but eventually you run out of weapons.
Yeah.
If
you're Tom Brady, do you ever run out of weapons?
Absolutely, especially when the offensive line is gone and you're going up against one of the best defenses in football.
Yes.
I mean, he's going to be in shotgun 90% of the time.
I mean, you got.
Does Von Miller still do those chunky soup commercials? They're gonna show a lot of them if they do
and if they think Fournette coming back is their savior, they're going to shut the running game down.
Dude, I don't know, bro. I mean, you saw how well the 49ers ran the ball against them. I mean, they easily ran the ball with a 7th-round pick guy that had an amazing season. I just feel like you guys are really shooting low on the Bucs right now.
I just think that them playing the Eagles at their worst was the highlight of their playoffs. I just I really do. You can't compare what they did last week against the Eagles team that came in there flat. I mean,
I'm just setting the stage so when I pick them later, you guys are like, "What?"
Well, if you want, we can jump in and do our picks now if you want.
No.
I mean. I just, I don't know. I just, I don't think Tom Brady is the magic man that is going to be able to save them this time. Especially when, like I said, you put Ramsey on Evans. You take Evans out of the game. Who is he throwing to?
Yep,
Scotty Miller. It's
Gronky.
Scotty Miller, Gronk, and.
You know what? I mean, they do have weapons. Is O.J. Howard out?
Brate and O.J. Howard are still there. Vaughn had a good game last week.
You're gonna need your tight ends in the block to stop the rush.
Yeah, true. You're gonna see a lot of that. Same as the Eagles game where he kind of knows what's coming, but this time it's gonna be like, can you stop it?
And what was that guy's name? Jenkins or something like that? Like you could see some of the receivers he was throwing to that the timing wasn't on with them against the Eagles. So. I don't know. I think that the magic runs out this year. There's too many weapons that are gone. I mean, a couple weeks ago you had Godwin and you had whatchamacallit there, Anthony Brown, Antonio Brown. So you had 3 of the best receivers going, and now they're gone. They're gone. So
he's gone.
It is what it is.
Well, there's a lot of players talking about how bad the officiating is, and I thought before we get into it, I just wanted to mention that it is the 3-year anniversary of the no call against the Saints and Rams that would have sent the Saints to the Super Bowl because they would have been down at the 4-yard line, would have ran the clock out, kicked the game-winning field goal, but instead went to overtime and lost. Still can't believe that call. But refs, man, the amount of flags that you saw this first week of playoffs, like, I feel like something has to change. It's just...
The one I didn't bring this up earlier, but no, this was the Raiders Chargers game. I know this is completely, but they threw a flag when the dude Carr was quarterback, throws a ball up nowhere near the receiver at all, completely uncatchable, but they still threw a flag because the guy kind of touched him up. But yeah.
I think this season's been terrible. I mean, going back to that game with the Bears where the ref, you saw him stick his hip into that one guy and then throw a flag and eject him.
And you know what's sad is they have more officials on the sidelines now during playoff games. There's 2 additional officials on the sidelines. My thing is why don't the NFL just fix this? Get a guy up in the booth, somebody that can replay each play. You have so much time that you can buzz down and pick the flag up.
I don't even think it's that. It's just like you watch college football. And sometimes you forget about flags. I mean, you hardly ever see flags called in college football, and then you turn an NFL game on, and you can get like 5 in the first drive.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's got to be somebody upstairs that's monitoring this stuff and saying, you know what? Nope, that wasn't a penalty. Pick up the flag.
Yep.
That's one thing I need to see change. I mean, college football has guys up in the booth, and there is a guy up in the booth now for the NFL. If somebody gets hurt, they buzz down, say stop it, take him out of the game. It's just they got to get it right. I mean, it's ridiculous. And another thing I want to see change is that whole spotting the ball with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I think the clock should stop. These officials are freaking 50, 60 years old. They can't get out there and mark the ball down. You're losing so much time. Stop the clock if they get a first down. Put the ball on the ground. Start it on the whistle.
I feel like the whole Dak situation, I feel like that might be almost like the New Orleans situation. I feel like that might push for something to change.
But that wasn't the only call. I mean, you saw in that game where the official was standing there and would not let Dak snap the ball, and they ended up calling a delay of game because you have to give the defense enough time to make substitutions.
That made no sense to me. I was like, if they call a delay of game here, there's something wrong, and then you see the flag.
How can you call a delay of game if you can't snap the ball?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's too many. There's too much arbitrary with all the technology we have. There's too many of those calls that just shouldn't be wrong.
Yeah.
At this point.
I mean, if you need the ref to touch the ball, the clock should at least stop until they get there. As soon as they touch it, the clock starts.
I agree.
Just like the college. As soon as you get first down, the clock stops momentarily.
Mm-hmm. Just spot the ball.
As soon as they touch that ball, the clock is going.
Yes. And I think, and it's not just for the Cowboys game, because I still think Dallas loses that game no matter what. Dak has one chance to throw it to the end zone. I think we still lose.
Correct.
But the problem is there's games out there where you think about it, that can be changed by a field goal. Mm-hmm. We see Michigan do it. Get the field goal team out there while they're spotting the ball, snap the ball, win a game.
And we've discussed overtime rules too. I just feel like college is just the rules that are set, the foundation that is set up for college football is absolutely amazing compared to the NFL. In my opinion.
And my thing is if you're the NFL, you look at all the money that in the revenue you're making, you think you'd want to get this stuff right. It's just, I don't know.
You know what makes me mad, too, is Dak was fined $25,000 for his post-game comments. I don't know exactly what he said.
It should have been $100,000.
But the fact that you get fined now for
No, because the thing is they were actually the fans were throwing bottles at the officials and at the players. And Dak, when they said to Dak thought they were throwing it at DeMarcus Lawrence. He was upset about it. And then when he found out that they were throwing it at the officials, he said, well, that was justified. No, that's not justified.
Oh.
You don't, and especially you're the franchise quarterback for the Cowboys, and you're coming out and saying that trash. You should have been fined $150,000, $200,000. There's nobody in the world has the right to throw anything at anybody because you don't like how the outcome of the game is. I hated the outcome of the game, but that's BS.
Yeah.
Look at the quietness, crickets.
Well,
edit. No, I just and that's the thing about football too. I mean, everyone's passionate about the sport. I love the sport. I'm passionate about it. I yell at my TV. College football, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's a game. You know, I'm not going to say I hate the Cowboys. I mean, I hate loving the Cowboys sometimes, but next year they're going to be my team again, and I'm going to be pumped up. It's going to be the same circle. I'm going to overhype them again, and we're going to be so happy. We're going to probably make the NFC East and win it back-to-back for the first time in 17 years that someone's done it. We're probably going to go to the first round of the playoffs, and we're probably going to lose again. But guess what? I'll wake up that freaking Monday, and I'll forget about the Cowboys. I'll pack away my stuff for another season, and I'll look forward to baseball lockout being over.
God, yeah, that's a whole nother issue.
It's just a game.
Aaron, did you see today, by the way, did you see that they are, remember how they were using the electronic umpires in like low single A? They just nominated that at the AAA today. They're going to do the AAA this year.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to get to see that. I can report live, guys. St. Paul Saints Stadium
I
here.
think that's so stupid though. Like, I love the whole game. Like that's part of the game, you know what I mean? Like bad calls and bad strikes, that's part of the game. I hate that they're always changing. Not to get off topic, I hate that they're always changing baseball.
But same with the officials. And another thing to your point, Chris, is not only do they add 2 additional ones, but it's an all-star crew, I found out. Or like you learn that it's basically none of these guys have worked together throughout the regular season either.
Yeah.
So
see, they shouldn't do that. They should just pick a crew that's been doing well together.
Good. Right? Like how hard is that to find a crew that, hey, you have data. They have data. Like there's a whole stats department for every freaking team now. You have data on how well these refs call a game. It should be the same thing.
Yeah, these guys don't call that many penalties. They officiate a really good game. Everybody enjoys it. These guys should be rated. They should be rated after every game too.
Well, I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do get ratings. But
I know. I think Sean Payton is on the board for this. I think there's like a player board or something.
Well, Stephen Jones is on the rules commission.
Yeah.
Imagine going to work as an umpire though, like even at my age now, but like getting a report card that shows you after the game how well. Don't you think they just literally either burn that or just throw it? Right?
Yeah.
Like how serious do they take it?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't. Like I umpired baseball games already, and it doesn't matter. Someone's gonna hate you. Someone's gonna like you, and you try to call the game the best you can on both sides, but it's difficult. I mean, you think about it, an umpire behind the plate. You got a guy throwing 90 miles an hour plus. You got guys throwing curveballs that can break almost 3 feet. You try calling that. You know, you got batters in there that are 6'8", and their strike zone changes. So, you know, it's not easy to call baseball games. It's not easy to call football games. I mean, you think about it. You got 22 people on the field at a time in a collision, and you got to try and make a call in a split second like that.
Yeah.
I just think some of the ticky-tacky calls, like, you know, the thing that aggravates me is, like, just saying basketball, when a guy drives down the lane, throws his hands in the air, they call this. They call the ball. The same thing happens for receivers now. If he doesn't make the catch, what's the first thing he does? Throws his hands up, and then the flag comes in late.
You're seeing less pass interference calls, though.
Yeah. You know, quarterbacks, that's another thing, too. I mean, look at, who was it, Tom Brady? Tom Brady got hit in the thigh, and they called a personal foul for a low hit. I mean, you're taking away football from guys who are making a living.
That's like the one with quarterbacks too, where like I get like if a guy like full on like hits his hand like hits your head, right? But like a fingertip, like if that touches any part of your helmet, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
And those are the fouls right there, especially in a playoff game where there should be someone upstairs that can buzz down and say, nope, that's not a foul. Pick it up because I mean. At one point in the game, Dallas was like 2nd and 25, 2nd and 30 or something like that. I mean, come on. It ruins the game. And it seems like it always happens at the time when a big play happens.
They should look over some of these rules too. I don't know if it's holding or offsides. I forget which. One of them is an automatic first down. And I was just like, that's stupid.
Defensive holding.
It's like, if it's like 3rd and 10 and hold it automatic first. Where's the 5-yard penalty or something? You know what I mean?
And you know the thing that aggravates me too is about the false start too. I remember a time when defensive players could jump off, get back, and reset. Now they jump off, the offensive lineman moves, and they call it.
That's smart.
But still, that should still be a false start on the offensive player because the ball wasn't snapped. They should have never changed that. Because now all you got to do is see a guy flinch across like that. The offensive, Randy Gregory actually did it. Randy Gregory flinched. The left tackle flinched, and they called offsides on Randy Gregory. That's crap.
I saw that. I also saw Stafford. They wouldn't let Stafford complete a pass after a defensive offsides call. They blew it was perfect, and they blew the whistle after the ball was snapped.
Yeah, they don't always let them play out.
Him the time.
They don't let them play out sometimes.
But they let Rodgers. They let all of them.
Well, it depends.
Well, not all of them.
Yeah, I think it depends.
It depends on how quick the guy gets past the tackle. If he's about to kill the quarterback, they're gonna blow it.
Oh, okay.
Because Aaron Rodgers, you're right, is the master of that. Getting that free play.
Well, I would just get in my center's ear and be like, if you ever see anyone flinch, snap the heck out of that ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, since you guys jumped into baseball a little bit. By the way, Tampa Bay, the MLB, they actually shot down the idea of Tampa Bay Rays playing half their season in Tampa and half of it up in Montreal. They shot that down today, and it's probably because of COVID for one. Canada doesn't want anybody up there right now.
Why was that even an idea?
That's what I said.
Well, if you look at the crowd at Tampa Bay's games, there's nobody there.
Well, Tampa Bay should move just from the west to the east, like just get a different location.
It's not easy just to pick up and move a stadium and move an organization. I mean, it takes a lot of money to build another stadium.
Do you know that they are not at all close to ending that lockdown?
No. And the another thing too about baseball is the Dominican League. I mean, that's just amazing.
That's going off.
There's a lot of big players down there playing. If you love baseball and you can find Dominican baseball anywhere,
I think
look it
playing
up.
Over there.
Yeah. The Yankees actually hired a female manager that's going to be managing one of their minor league teams. It's going to be the first female manager in baseball history, which is awesome.
That's why the Yankees are the best.
A lot of the international players were signed. The Yankees signed a shortstop. So.
Number one intentional prospect, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the baseball news that we have right now.
Is that 17-year-old?
Yeah, he's a shortstop.
Wow. So, and as like Ty said, baseball, we're like a couple weeks away from spring training, and they're not even close to freaking having a deal,
and there's all these free agents, too. Like, the Yankees, I want to see a splash, you know? Correa comes out, says, I want at least $330 million.
Correa did sign Scott Boras today as his agent, so he's got the mega agent. So that means he will be signing a huge contract because Scott Boras doesn't take on anything but big contracts.
Imagine being...
Yep.
Imagine being in his shoes, Correa's shoes, and just knowing, like, you are so close to having so much money. Like, that has to be a thrill. Like, it would be amazing just to open my bank account app one day and just see millions of dollars in there. Like, that would be amazing. I think I'd cry.
No kidding. Hey, let's keep working here. Maybe someday we can get that sponsored.
Maybe someday we can just walk out of bed and just be like, hey, guys, let's get on the air.
Hey, good news. The Players Association is meeting with the owners on Monday.
Yeah, but they met several times already, but they're not even close to anything.
Yeah.
NBA news real quick. The East is actually getting pretty tight. Between 1 all the way down to 6 is only a 2.5 game lead. The Sixers have been playing a lot better as of lately. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Chicago Bulls are in first place, tied with the Miami Heat, who surprisingly has taken a turn to going in the right direction. Brooklyn's interesting. I mean, they're a good team, but it just seems like they can never get the three together. The magic of the three, Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Durant just, he's hurt again. Kyrie can only play away games.
There was a guy that came out, and he was so mad because the All-Star votes came out, and you had. For instance, Kyrie Irving was picked over these amazing point guards like Booger and
no way,
and he was picked over Levine. Like the Bulls are in first place, and you have and people are picking Carmelo Anthony and LeBron James, even though the Lakers aren't doing well this year. And it's just like he's like, yo, like the way the system for this needs to change because people are getting screwed.
Oh yeah.
Like Klay Thompson was up there to start, even though like he literally just came. And this is nothing against them. But it's just like
it's all fans,
bro.
It's been going, it's been going on too long, sadly, because of the fan voting.
Well,
Chris is right.
Johnny's Milwaukee Bucks, who were like the 9th, 10th seed, they're up to the 4th seed right now, but they are 4-6. They're 4-6 in their last 10. They are struggling. The Sixers are the 5th seed. Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 7-3 in their last 10, are the 6th seed right now. And then you have a couple teams that are still close. Charlotte's there, Washington's there. The Celtics, surprisingly, they're falling. But let's see on the other side on the West, you still have the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors are dominating. There's a 2.5 games separating them, and then there's a big fall off. You got the Grizzlies, Utah, Dallas Mavericks, Denver Nuggets, which are your top 6. The Lakers, who are 5-5 in their last 10, are the 8th seed right now. And you know what's amazing is that team's a mess. They're a mess. I mean, I love it. You got street clothes who doesn't even play. You got Westbrook who gets benched because he doesn't play defense. And then you have LeBron James who has 30-point games this year.
He's been going off the past couple games.
He's been doing well.
30-point games.
But he leads the NBA in that category, but they're still losing games right and left. There's only 12 players in the NBA that have had more than 10 30-point games.
I'm surprised at how close 1 through what was it, 6 in the East?
2.5 games.
The Bucks, going back to the Bucks quick, their fans are still bitter. Johnny and the fans are still bitter. They gave up on PJ Tucker after the 1-year deal because he's a stud and he's playing for the Heat right now, which is absolutely everybody needs that kind of guy on the team where you're just going to work hard, defend the best player on the court usually and just bully him up.
Well, the thing that's going to be interesting is the trade deadline's coming up, and there's a lot of buzz about Ben Simmons.
34-9. That's
Ben
crazy.
Simmons, man. He's still a Sixer, still doesn't want to play for them, and they're still looking for a max deal to get him out of there.
They talked about trade packages going to Sacramento.
With Tobias Harris, though.
Timberwolves.
They talked about going to
Minnesota.
They talked about him going to Sacramento, and I was like, well, who's on Sacramento that we'd want?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean they're 18 and 29, so nobody really good.
Well, they're saying Fox would be part of the deal, and
but is Fox even good?
Well, he's not bad.
Does it matter though who you guys get back? Because you're you're 4th in the division now, or you're up there
5th.
for sure.
Joel's been going off. I mean, he had 50
definitely
points
want
last
somebody good. I mean, I personally think Ben Simmons is still a great ball player.
Yeah, but
I know he doesn't shoot, but he still averages at least 20 points a game.
Well, that won't be easy to find because
Fox is averaging 21 points a game.
Yeah, but the thing is you were getting 18 plus 10 or 11 boards with Simmons. You're not going to get a point guard that's going to give you 8 or 10 boards. So
I'll take Fox. I'll take Fox for Simmons. Just do it at this point. Give us a shooter.
But they're saying there's going to be a package deal. They're going to see there's multiple pieces to it. So we'll see. And they're saying Indiana's involved. They're saying there's a bunch of teams that are involved for him. So we'll see. Let's get him going. My interesting thing is when he does get traded, does he come back and play? And is this whole mental health thing just a joke?
Oh, it is.
That's what I want to see. Because I'll tell you right now, Charles Barkley said it. He said he won't play in Philly because the fans don't forget. And that's the truth. The fans don't forget.
I think they'd boo him as soon as he steps on the court.
Boo him. They'll probably throw batteries at him. They'll do everything. But that's our NBA ticker. We'll have to watch the NBA trade deadline.
You guys want to do your playoff picks?
Absolutely.
Yeah. How outside of the Cowboys, I did pretty well last week. Unfortunately,
last week, I mean, I picked the Patriots to go to the Super Bowl.
But no, we all picked the Bills, though. I thought you were joking, Ty, about it.
Well,
I captured that wrong.
I think didn't we all? We all picked the Bengals. I think we all picked.
I picked the Rams. Both you guys picked the Cardinals.
I picked the Cowboys. Unfortunately,
you picked the Raiders.
Ty picked the Raiders.
Yo, did I pick the 49ers?
Yes, you did.
Let's go. Yeah, I knew it. I said you're gonna turn that TV on and see the Red Sea.
We all picked Kansas City.
We skipped over that game. That game was.
I picked the Eagles. That was a bad week.
You guys both picked the Eagles. I picked the Bucks.
Aaron waits last because he wants to pick what we don't pick.
I think it evened out, though. I think it evened out. It's gotta be. It's gotta be close.
All right. Well, this week I'm going Bengals. First Saturday game, 4:30. I'm going Bengals.
I gotta go Titans.
I think Tennessee's going to be too much. Like I said before, I think the running game is going to be the
Bengals by 20. I think Bengals by 20, baby.
I think you're going to see a running back come out that's hungry that wants to go to the Super Bowl. He's going to rush for 170 yards plus.
Oh, you're going to see a running back come out. It's going to be Joe Mixon. He's going to be running down the sideline. Bengals by 20. I'm telling you.
All right.
Joe Burrow.
Oh, wow.
Joe Burrow's going to throw another 5 touchdowns.
Wow,
come on, Ace. Come on.
I really want to believe you. I want to see that swagger, but I did
Titans haven't played in a week. Titans haven't played in a week. They got beat around by the Texans.
Yeah, I mean maybe that time off will play dividends.
I think the Bengals are going to load the box and slow Henry. He's come back from an injury, and Tannehill's not going to get it done. Guys, remember these words right here that I'm telling you.
Honestly, this would be a shocker, to be honest. I feel like people aren't talking about the Titans still, and I just feel like that would be a big upset for the Bengals.
The second Saturday game,
I really
want to take the 49ers. I think that they're
not in Lambeau.
I think that's what I was thinking. I think that they are the hot
Not
team
in
in the
Lambeau.
playoffs, but I think the Packers in Lambeau are going to win that game.
And I think
Yeah,
they're
I gotta
getting, what's
agree.
that guy's
I gotta
name? That
agree.
Baccarati, that offensive lineman. I can't pronounce
God,
his
if
name.
Johnny was here, he'd love to see you swimming for this.
Yeah.
Bakhtiari, David
That's
Bakhtiari.
it. He might be coming back, so that's going to be huge for them if they get him back. I mean, the guy's an all-pro. He's a stud. I just think Lambeau Field, man. Lambeau Field, an 8:15 game is going to be cold as freaking balls up there. I mean, you're talking probably wind chills in the negatives. I just think the magic of Lambeau is too much for the 49ers. I really do.
Yo, I feel how cold it is outside now here. Screw that. I'll retire.
I'm gonna say, and Joey Bosa, I guess he
Retire
might
South Ty.
Bosa might play. I mean, he didn't practice Tuesday. He was limited today. If he doesn't play, I think, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is going to destroy them. I think, Aaron's been sitting back. He's been relaxing. He's having a great freaking season. And I think this is all going to come out and turn out to be him signing and staying in Green Bay for another 2 or 3 years. It's going to be a blowout. I'm going to say they're going to win 35-17.
Ooh.
I could see that.
See, okay, I think it's going to be the other way. I think the early game, the Titans are going to blow out the Bengals. I think this game will be close, but I got to go with the Packers.
Yeah, I think
Jimmy
Jimmy G's going to put up a
back.
fight. I think Jimmy G's going to put up a fight.
The biggest thing is going to be Mason Crosby. Does he come out of his slump? I mean, he's missed more field goals this year than he's ever missed in his career.
Well, special teams in general, too.
By the way, I think like day playoff games, I think that's weird. Like,
you think it should be under the lights?
Like that Tampa Bay and Eagles game, that didn't even feel like a playoff game. Like the Bengals and Raiders game, beautiful cold night, that felt like a playoff.
But they
game.
were lucky that game didn't start earlier because it was a monsoon down there earlier during like the pregame stuff. I mean, they had the tarp.
Was crazy.
They had the tarp on the field forever. I mean, it was like a monsoon with the rain coming through there. But I think Aaron Rodgers is too much. I really do. The magic of Lambeau and Aaron. I would be shocked to see them go down, especially in this game.
That's 3 picks for Packers, and
I'm riding with them. I got to ride with them, obviously.
Sunday's highlight is the Rams against the Buccaneers at 3:00.
I think no matter the weapons Tom Brady has,
Rams. I'll say it first.
I think Tom Brady gets the win here.
Nope, I don't. I think too much defense, Rams, and didn't they played during the season, and I think the Rams put up 31, like 20 or something like that. The Rams won pretty decently. So I think this again is, I think the Rams are going to beat them. I think it's going to be the Rams against Green Bay for the NFC Championship.
Oh,
that's a great pick. Okay, and probably the highlight of the weekend, which makes sense that it's the last game, Sunday Night Football, Bills. Chiefs.
Bills upset the Chiefs at home.
It's not an upset. I mean, they beat the Chiefs.
It'll be an upset.
They beat the Chiefs during the year. I hope the Bills destroy Kansas City. I'm going Bills all the way. I think the Bills have Kansas City's number. I think there's gonna be a high.
It just came across.
Guys, you're gonna give me the Chiefs
It just came across on Twitter. Dak Prescott. I deeply regret my comments about the officials. Bam.
He apologized. They got in his head then.
Listen,
the official.
Kansas City's points per game, they're 4th. The Bills' defense is 1st. Kansas City's, I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on. They're second. They're second in another offensive category. The Bills are 1st in every defensive category whatsoever. The Bills. The Bills.
Guys, okay, what team has Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce?
Who cares? They haven't done crap all year.
What team
I'll take the Chiefs at home. I'll take the Chiefs at home.
What team has Josh Allen, who walked in there in the middle of the season and destroyed the Chiefs?
I think,
and has Stephon Diggs.
And let's face it.
And has Knox.
Kansas City's defense allowed 21 points against Ben Roethlisberger, who couldn't throw the ball more than 10 yards down the field.
Yeah, you're talking about Tyreek Hill and
that's a good,
Kelsey. Yeah. The Bills have Stephon Diggs and Knox, who have been great all year.
I mean, don't forget Josh Allen has crazy legs as well. That's a weapon.
I was just going to say Josh Allen and Tyreek Hill are the X factors because nobody on the defense can cover Hill. I'm sorry. Nobody on any defense in the league can cover Tyreek Hill. But I don't think Mahomes is as fast as Allen. He's talented enough, but if you can at least keep him inside the pocket, you can. Whereas Allen, you can't even if you feel like you got him, he could still sneak away.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is my hot take. My hot take, I'm going to jump above the rest of the season. The Rams against Buffalo in the Super Bowl, and the Bills come off that 4-game streak. The Bills win the Super Bowl this year.
First time ever.
Yeah, I see it. I seriously see it, because look at anyone on
That'd be fascinating.
You look at anybody that's on the NFC side. I mean, Rodgers, yeah, he's good, but look at the Bills' defense. It's solid. I mean, there's no defense left that can match the Bills' defense.
That's a good point.
And the Rams, Stafford is known to throw interceptions. I mean, he has been the last couple of weeks. He's got 13 interceptions. So if you get pressure on him with the Bills, the Bills are one of the best teams as far as getting pressure.
I'd love to see Bills Packers.
Yeah, that would be a good Super Bowl.
That'd be a heck of a Super Bowl.
But I think the Rams. I think if the Rams do get by Tampa Bay and they face Green Bay, I think the Rams have the defense to beat Aaron Rodgers. I really do.
But that's I know we could go on forever, but that's where weather in Lambeau, knowing that the Rams have to travel to Lambeau to play, I just can't see how Stafford is able. You're going from a sunny weather team all year, and whatever. I know these guys are tough, but think about that. You're on the cusp. Let's just say they make it to the NFC Championship game. They're on the cusp of going to the Super Bowl, which will be in their home stadium. How much pressure is that?
Tom Brady beat them last year.
Oh, true. That's true.
Sunny Tampa Bay went up there and beat them. So,
you think Stafford? They played each other a ton in the division.
I just think defensively, Green Bay doesn't have much right now to scare them, to force Stafford into mistakes.
Yep.
And with the OBJ picking it up, you got Cooper Kupp picking it up. I mean, you have good weapons there, and they have a decent running game with Sonny Michel. So I just think that they have enough. And the defense, I mean, you didn't hear about Von Miller and the defense clicking all season. And now all of a sudden, the last couple of weeks, they've been picking. I mean, they beat a tough Arizona team. Not once, but twice.
We're not giving enough credit, though, to Deebo Samuel on this 49ers. Samuel and Kittle,
so
good. I think.
And
so they got to get past this week. I think.
But see, I think offensively, you're not going to see what Dallas couldn't give them. You're going to see a shootout with Green Bay.
We said that about Dallas, though, because I said the Rams couldn't stop that offense, and you said, hey, we got a great defense, and I said, we'll see.
Nah, I just
and it look what we did.
Seriously, if you look at what did the 49ers do to Dallas? I mean, they only put up 23 points. They did a lot of misdirections. Their running game is what killed Dallas. Dallas shut down the pass. Jimmy G didn't throw for a lot. So I just think if they're going to use the same misdirection run plays, I mean, I just think it's not enough to beat Aaron Rodgers. I really don't. And I just think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott.
Yeah,
it always goes back to Dallas somehow.
It does.
It is. It is going to be a shootout too.
Well,
I would. Speaking of that, you want to round out? We didn't really do an ace quick six, but we did bet on 4 games. You want to round out that? Bet the over on the 49ers Packers and the Bills Chiefs. Boom.
What is the over for that game?
I don't even know.
If I had to guess, it's probably 48, 45, 48 for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Maybe 50. I think it was 48 for the Dallas game.
Let's see here. So 54 for the Bills Chiefs.
Oh, I'd definitely take the over on that.
And 47. Green Bay, Sanford. Yes.
What's the weather going to be like?
It is going to be cold. Shout out to some friends
that
are going to the game. I have a couple friends that are going to the game.
Oh.
No snow though, right?
No. It's going to be. It's like 0 here today, so I wouldn't be surprised.
There you go. That could be our guest for next week, man. If they go and they win there, I get them on and ask them about the atmosphere of that game.
It says 2 degrees right now. It's going to be a balmy 14 on Sunday. Or no, sorry, Saturday, 20 degrees. So a little bit. I don't know. So it's at night though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So as long as it's not snowing and it's a blizzard, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, Aaron Rodgers is going to be too much for them. He's better than Dak Prescott. Let's put it like that. Dak surprised me. And that's the thing. You don't know what offense you're getting with freaking Dak and Kellen. So, you know what? Aaron Rodgers is going to freaking put it on them. All they can do is run the ball, the misdirection plays that they did. You didn't hear George Kittle's name mentioned last week at all against the Cowboys. They shut down the freaking run, the pass. We just couldn't shut down the run. I just think
you'll hear him this weekend.
Aaron Rodgers, and I think it's going to be a stud performance, and I think he's going to come to an end when he faces the Rams, and it's going to be the Rams, Bills win a Super Bowl. Ding, 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 on to baseball.
I was going to say, this is a very haphazard podcast, but it's still fun to kind of reminisce, especially as you try to survive COVID here, Chris.
Yeah. Oh, God. And that paleness, that's not the light. That's actually the COVID. Oh, jeez.
Hey, that's why I have the soft light, the soft white.
Yeah.
It's not as bright. Doesn't make me. No, I'm kidding. That's because I don't know any better.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Well, boys.
Oh, by the way, real quick, we were talking NFL.
More stats?
We were talking NFL draft. They have 4 defensive players projected to go in the top 5. The first offensive player is going to be an offensive tackle going to the Jets.
Yeah, they don't have quarterbacks going until 11 or later.
They don't have quarterback going until 9, which is surprising. This is the fun part of the year now that the Cowboys are done, the mock drafts. I love mock drafts. They have Matt Corral going to Denver, which is crazy because how many different quarterbacks have they had in the last 5-6 years?
Well, they said this might be the first year ever they don't see a quarterback go in the top 10.
The second, surprisingly, the second quarterback they have going to Washington, the Malik Willis from Liberty going to Washington, and then Minnesota, they have them taking the Michigan other stud defensive end, David Ojabo, which I love him.
Yes,
he's an awesome player. The next quarterback they have going off the board does not fall until all the way down at 20th to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett.
I think we're gonna miss Chris Spielman for that. He was always like a more or less a best man available, at least for the team need, and he loved picking the D. Well, maybe that was more Zimmer too, but I get the big guys, get the interior alignment. You know, like all this is gonna shape out eventually.
Oh yeah,
we'll see.
Well, the crazy thing is for all the Eagles fans that are around us, they have them taking a receiver at 15, linebacker at 16, and then at 19 they have them taking an offensive guard. They have the Saints taking the receiver from USC, Drake Landon.
I've seen a lot of receivers, and now I'm seeing quarterbacks. I think that's kind of smart to take a receiver for the Eagles. I mean, think about it. If you have Devontae Smith, and then, you know, if Rieger can turn it around, and then you have another first-round receiver, that could be an amazing wide receiver corps for Jalen Hurts.
Well, surprisingly, at 24th, they have the Dallas Cowboys taking Cincinnati cornerback Ahmad Gardner, a 6'2", 163-pound cornerback. Oh, Jesus.
Guys could use some quarterbacks.
That's why I love mock drafts, you know, so
right.
We'll see what happens.
Honestly,
keep 10 of them.
Yeah, we'll rate how well those positions panned out when they actually pick.
Yeah.
Come draft night. Who knows? A lot's going to change too, especially because we're not all that can just go out the window until the Vikings hire somebody as well.
Oh, definitely.
Well, until a lot of these teams hire their coaches back, even the Broncos for that matter.
Yeah, and that's the most interesting thing because when you fire, like I said before, you fire a GM and a coach, you usually hire your GM first because you want your GM to pick your coach. So the longer you wait on a GM, the longer you're going to wait on a coach, and if the coach's market shrinks, I don't know.
See ya.
They can fire everybody in Dallas. That's all I can say.
Hey, that's a great way to wrap. You opened with that. We could end with that.
Oh, and by the way, in the second round, they have the Minnesota Vikings taking the quarterback from Nevada, Carson Strong.
He's a heck of a pocket
6'4", 215 pounds. And let's see if I can find the Saints quick. They have the Saints.
Carson Strong.
They have the Saints taking Brandon Smith, a linebacker from Penn State. Penn State is known for linebackers. They have the Eagles taking a safety at 51, and they have the Dallas Cowboys taking an offensive tackle.
So these guys they don't think the Vikes are going to keep Cousins, or they keep him for this year, but draft for new. Interesting.
They have Dallas taking Daniel Falle, whatever, from Minnesota. That's your guy. 6'8", 400 pounds. That's what we need. We need a 400-pound offensive lineman. All right, that's all I got for you guys.
All right, Ace, you got anything else?
Nope. Take us home.
We hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. If you haven't checked it out, last week we had Savannah Kinchin on, which was an amazing podcast. Go check that out. We will see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.